As I was coming through all of this, I soon found out that one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music, it's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen.
It's quite strange how just after Angie Stone began accusing Universal Music Group, UMG, of stealing from her for years, she ends up in a car accident, where she was the only one who died, even though there were 8 other people involved. This happened right after she promised to do whatever it took to make sure UMG paid for her life's work, her children, and her grandchildren. And when I say that the circumstances surrounding Angie's death seem suspicious, I truly mean it. In the months leading up to her passing, aside from calling out UMG, Angie was also revealing a lot about the music industry. For example, not long ago, she exposed how D'Angelo and Mary J. Blige were allegedly used to sabotage her career. These claims she made might have been linked to what ultimately happened to her. Additionally, why was Albie Shaw transcribing private text messages between him and Angie from just days before her death, where she shared very personal details? There's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes, so let's dive into it. Now, let's take a moment to acknowledge Angie's incredible legacy and contributions to the entertainment industry. Born into a musically gifted family, with her mother singing around the house and her father performing gospel and blues, Angie was deeply influenced by her dad. As an only child, she looked up to him and he played a huge role in shaping her musical aspirations. Angie was a key member in the formation of The Sequence, the first all-female group to sign with the legendary Sugar Hill Records, making history as one of the first female groups to record a rap song. She later joined the group Vertical Hold before embarking on her successful solo career. Angie produced timeless hits like No More Rain, In This Cloud, which topped the Billboard Adult R&B Airplay chart for 10 weeks, and Wish I Didn't Miss You, which also went to number 1. Her 2001 album Mahogany Soul peaked at number 22 on the Billboard 200, while The Art of Love and War reached number 11 in 2007. Aside from her music career, Angie also showcased her acting talents, appearing in films such as The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider, The Fighting Temptations with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beyoncé, and Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. She even performed on Broadway as Big Mama Morton in Chicago and was featured on reality TV shows like Celebrity Fit Club and R&B Divas Atlanta. Angie was undoubtedly a major influence in the music industry. Sadly, like many of her peers, her life seemed to take a tragic turn the moment she began questioning her financial situation. Angie never knew that UMG had been stealing from her for decades, and once she discovered this, she became determined to expose them. Angie Stone's issues with Universal Music Group, UMG, stem from her long-standing relationship as a songwriter with MCA Records, which she started in 1990. MCA Inc., the parent company of MCA Records, rebranded as Universal Studios Inc. in 1996, and its music division became UMG. Angie was signed to MCA Universal as a songwriter and also formed the R&B group Vertical Hold under their label. In a candid video she posted on January 2nd, Angie revealed her allegations of financial mismanagement over her 40-plus-year career. At the start of the video, she discussed battling a serious blood infection that forced her to stop touring and seek immediate medical care. During her recovery in intensive care, she uncovered troubling discrepancies in her financial records. Around 15 minutes into the video, she claimed that much of her publishing royalties and mechanical royalties had been stolen by UMG. After spending over 40 years in the business, she questioned where her royalties were going, as she had never received them. She later discovered that Universal Music had been receiving all her royalties and mechanicals, essentially taking everything she was owed. In her video, Angie expressed deep disappointment over what she saw as both negligence and intentional financial wrongdoing. Angie made it clear that she was determined to make Universal Music give her the money they owed her. She said she was prepared to do whatever it took to ensure they paid her for her life's work, as well as for the benefit of her children and grandchildren. She also alleged that UMG had neglected proper registration procedures for her songs, claiming that several class action lawsuits had been filed over her songs, but they were never properly registered by the company she had signed them over to. Additionally, Angie stated that she had hired a team to investigate what she believed. She was owed and warned upcoming artists about the industry's pitfalls. A few weeks later, she tragically passed away. I don't want to sound like I'm pushing a conspiracy theory, but it certainly feels suspicious that she was the only one to die in the accident that involved several other people, especially after she started exposing UMG. This is a company that has faced accusations of ruining and sabotaging artists for standing up for their rights. What happened was that the vehicle she was traveling in from Alabama to Atlanta flipped over, then was struck by a large truck. Everyone else in the van survived, but Angie was the only one who didn't make it. According to the Alabama Highway Patrol, the 2021 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van overturned on Interstate 65 at around 4:25 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st, before being hit by a 2021 Freightliner truck driven by a 33-year-old man from Texas. The van, driver, and the 7 other passengers were taken to Baptist Medical Center for treatment, but Angie was pronounced dead at the scene. Her death shocked many people, especially considering Angie's recent revelations, have said they wouldn't be shocked if her death was somehow planned. As I mentioned earlier, this wasn't the only instance where Angie was exposing the industry. Back in September of last year, she posted another video where she revealed a lot of the darkness in the music business and how her ex, D'Angelo, and Mary J. Blige were allegedly used to undermine her career. Her relationship with D'Angelo had always been controversial, but Angie shared that years after their breakup, a person from D'Angelo's team had sent letters to industry professionals, falsely accusing her of introducing him to drugs and alcohol. The letters also claimed that Angie was controlling and difficult to work with, which she believed severely hurt her career. However, she clarified that she didn't blame D'Angelo, as she believed he had no knowledge of the situation. Instead, she blamed his business handlers, who she felt worked hard to break them up and tarnish her reputation. What Angie seemed to be saying was that a carefully orchestrated plan had been in place for decades to destabilize her career, and it was only recently that she started uncovering the truth behind it. This is why many people believe her death might have been part of that plan. Regarding Mary J. Blige, Angie mentioned that Kurt Woodley, Mary's manager at Uptown Records, had asked Angie to mentor Mary because she saw similarities between them. However, Angie claimed that Mary never showed any appreciation for her help, failed to acknowledge her contributions, and even took a song she recorded with D'Angelo without permission. Angie suggested that Mary was used to sabotage her, though she didn't explicitly say if Mary was a willing participant. Nonetheless, the fact that Mary knew what was happening and did nothing made her appear like a backstabber, and Angie warned other artists to be cautious of such behavior in the industry. Something else that seemed odd was how Albie Shaw was transcribing text messages between him and Angie Stone just days before her death, in which she shared very personal details. In one of the texts, Angie reached out saying, "Hey hun, it's Angie Stone. Please call me ASAP. A lot of stuff happening regarding this transplant situation. I have 2 possible donors, but they're discriminating against blacks." Albie responded, saying, "Hey there, Queen. Great to hear from you. I'm on a plane, but I'll touch base with you as soon as I land. I wanted to let you know that I have 2 donors, 1 negative and 1 positive, family members, and I'm trying to get clearance for the transplant. They're discriminating against blacks of a certain age, so I'm hesitant to deal with them." These exchanges raised more questions about what was really happening behind the scenes. Angie also reached out to Albie in the text messages to explain her frustration about her health situation. She told him that she had been trying to find help to get a transplant, mentioning, "I've been waiting for 5 years, and I'm overdue. My blood work is excellent, and I'm just waiting now. Call me when you have a moment to discuss this." In the same messages, Angie shared her thoughts about Diddy, saying, I've been praying hard for you ever since all the nonsense you've been saying for years was finally exposed, and he's going down. I didn't realize how much craziness you'd actually endured, and it's unfortunate. Know that I'm praying for you and supporting everything you're going through. I hope you and your son Quincy can reconcile, and he walks away from that messy situation. The world knows he deserves to be with his biological father right now. I know Kim is resting in peace. She was born just a couple of days before me, so I know her spirit well. I know how she was, and I'm certain she's been helping you from the other side. Be blessed, and know that I'm here for you no matter what. Peace and blessings, King. To be honest, I'm not sure what Albie hoped to achieve by sharing these messages, but it only fueled more speculation that Angie's death might have been planned. The details surrounding it still don't make sense, and I'm curious about your thoughts. Do you think her death was orchestrated? Also, what do you think about D'Angelo and Mary J. Blige being allegedly used to sabotage Angie's career? And what about Albie's controversial transcription of their private conversation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.